We are conditioned to believe that human nutrition requires massive supply chains, chemical fertilizers, and thousands of miles of transport, sterile grocery aisles, and fields of identical plastic-wrapped produce. But some of the most resilient food systems don't require our intervention. They shatter the pavement to reach the sun. Nature refuses to be paved over. This concrete landscape harbors a fiercely resilient, free source of food that aggressively pushes back. Cities spend millions to poison this plant, unaware that its chemical profile rivals or exceeds the most expensive greens in the grocery store. This tiny survivor represents nature's ultimate failsafe, thriving in the very cracks of the concrete meant to bury it. And despite your city likely spraying poison to eradicate it, this tiny sidewalk inhabitant contains a higher concentration of certain vital nutrients than almost anything you can buy in a commercial produce section. As a drought-resistant succulent, Purslane is biologically engineered to thrive in the poorest, most depleted soils. It sends deep taproots down through the cracks in the concrete to pull heavy, trapped minerals from deep underground, drawing them straight up into the plant's leaves. Looking at this chart comparing omega-3 fatty acid levels, the discrepancy is clear. Purslane contains the highest amount of these essential fats of any leafy green plant on Earth. It carries significant amounts of EPA and ALA, dwarfing the levels found in standard supermarket staples like spinach and kale. EPA and ALA are specific types of omega-3 fatty acids, essential for human health and biological regulation. Our bodies use these specific compounds to maintain brain health and regulate heart function. For decades, the dietary industry has instructed us to seek out these exact nutrients by purchasing fish oil supplements. Along with those fatty acids, it carries a massive secondary payload of vitamin A, vitamin C, magnesium, and powerful antioxidants. The modern city's most stubborn survivor is mathematically its most potent, untapped nutritional resource. The industrial agricultural system has successfully trained us to pay for packaged pills and fragile greens, while a free, accessible nutrient source grows entirely on its own beneath our feet. To ancient empires from Egypt to Rome, this plant was a dietary staple and a revered medicinal marvel. 2,000 years ago, calling this plant a weed would have been entirely inaccurate. Ancient Egyptians intentionally cultivated it in their fields, integrating it deeply into their agricultural systems and daily lives. Across the ancient Middle East, it was known simply as the blessed vegetable, and the Roman philosopher Pliny the Elder explicitly prescribed it for its medicinal healing properties, documenting its place in the diets of classical empires. Botanists have rigorously studied and classified Portulaca oleracea for centuries, documenting its exact physical structure and biological value in the official botanical record. We have a globally revered medicinal plant that fed empires for millennia. Yet today, it is universally targeted for destruction. To understand how a staple crop became a public enemy, we have to look at the geometry of modern farming. By the mid-20th century, the global food system reorganized itself around three strict priorities: mass scalability, extreme uniformity, and the ability to survive thousands of miles of shipping. Nutritional density was replaced by aesthetic consistency and maximum shelf life. Standard crops like wheat grow tall and rigidly vertical. Purslane creeps horizontally, forming a sprawling web hugging the topsoil. Large tractors require high clearance. Their blades slice vertically through tall stalks. They physically cannot process a plant living entirely below their cutting height. As these combine harvesters were rapidly deployed across the globe, they dictated exactly what could and could not be grown on a commercial scale. Every cultivated food now had to fit the strict physical dimensions of the machine. Purslane was never abandoned because it lacked dietary value. It was left behind because its horizontal shape completely broke the strict mechanical workflow of the industrialized farm. Because it didn't fit the machine, it became a disruption. Corporate agriculture and municipal city planners blanketed millions of acres of farmland and concrete sidewalks with aggressive chemical herbicides to eliminate any plant that deviated from their highly controlled grids. Purslane hugs the soil. You cannot run a $1 million combine tractor over a plant that creeps along the ground. As agriculture industrialized, the system demanded crops that could be standardized, easily shipped, and sold in uniform plastic boxes. Because it resisted industrialization, Purslane was labeled a nuisance. Its natural habitats were aggressively sprayed with herbicides and paved over. Purslane vanished from our tables because its low growth profile made it impossible to harvest with heavy machinery, and therefore impossible to monetize. There is little financial incentive to cultivate a plant that grows freely in depleted soils. You cannot patent it, you cannot force it into standardized plastic clamshells, and you cannot sell it back to the public for a premium. We call it a weed, but that word is an economic label applied to native, independent food sources that modern commercial systems cannot monopolize. Escaping this reliance on fragile supply chains means changing how we look at our own neighborhoods. Instead of seeing the concrete grid as a sterile trap, we can navigate the city as an abundant, unharvested ecosystem. Reclaiming this knowledge means treating our cities as ecosystems. That process begins with visual identification. Look for smooth stems that carry a reddish tint and covered in thick, fleshy, succulent-like leaves, growing outward in a circular pattern. Warning tone. Urban foraging requires absolute certainty, specifically regarding Purslane's toxic lookalike, a plant called spurge. If you break a spurge stem, it has a woody texture and bleeds a thick, milky white sap. Purslane's sap is completely clear and watery. Precision turns an invisible concrete landscape into a highly readable map of resources. Foragers must navigate invisible urban dangers. Avoid roadsides with heavy traffic, as the plants absorb automotive exhaust fumes. Strictly avoid manicured lawns and city parks, which are frequently treated with chemical herbicides. Instead, look for safe zones, overgrown abandoned lots, the wild edges of organic community gardens, or the untouched cracks in your own backyard patio. By harvesting only the tops and leaving the root system intact, we ensure the plant continues to regrow as a renewable source of free food. Once harvested, this plant competes with anything on the grocery store shelf. Purslane delivers a crisp, refreshing, and lemony crunch. Simply washing it and tossing it raw into a salad preserves its unique, succulent texture.